Hi guys, how you guys doing today? So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the ZTE Warp Sync. This is going to be my final review of this device. I haven't spent much time with it, and so people have been asking questions about it, those that know about it. And I really don't see much videos up here on YouTube that talk about this device. So I'm going to give another one out there. So let's just go over the specs. So this device has a 5-inch display, corner to corner, 5 inches. The resolution is at 720 by 1280 at 294 pixels per inch. It has a Snapdragon 400 processor. It's a quad-core clocked at 1.2 gigahertz, so handling applications this should have no problem doing that. With an Adreno 305 GPU, so graphics should be fairly ran very well. 2 gigs of RAM. So there should be no lag, no stutter whatsoever, okay? And I can tell you guys this from experience because I'm using this device as my daily driver right now, and I'm having a great time. Haven't experienced any problems with it whatsoever. It can multitask very well. That 2 gigs of RAM helps a whole lot. 1.6 megapixel front-facing camera with an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera with LED flash, autofocus, smile detection, all that good stuff, and we'll go over that here in a little bit. A 2300 milliamp hour battery, so that's kind of a downer right there. I mean, it does handle battery life very well, but I would have wanted more on a device like this, especially with the specs that it has. Maybe like a 2500 milliamp or maybe even a 2600 milliamp would have been perfect. But 23 is not bad. You still get a good amount of charge on this for one day. Wi-Fi capable, Bluetooth capable, has a micro SD expansion, so you can expand up to 64 gigabytes, but some people have said 128 gigabytes works on this device. I don't know because I don't have one, but 64 can run on this device. So that's a good, amount. Considering you have 8 gigs of internal storage, technically 4.12 gigs is usable for apps, pictures, and music. The rest is the software itself. Okay, so we'll take a look around the device right here. So here's your 5-inch display right in the front. And, it's like all black, so it just kind of has like, from first glance, because it doesn't really reflect too much light. Like right here, you can see the light, but like just right here, it doesn't really reflect much off of it whatsoever. So it kind of has like that, the Samsung Galaxy, was it the Epic for a Sprint? It kind of has that look. But, I mean, when you tilt it a certain way, then you can see the screen itself. So, but that's nice. Okay. So, anyways, on the top, you have your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. On the left side, you have your volume rockers right here. And a micro USB charge port right there. There's nothing at the bottom except for your microphone down there. On the right side, you got your power and lock screen button. On the back, you have your 8 megapixel camera with LED flash and a microphone for, when you have in camcorder mode. Speaker back here for all your music listening and speakerphone. And you have your earpiece on the top, 1.6 megapixel front-facing camera. You have your capacitive buttons, your back, home, and menu. So let's unlock the device here real quick. Okay, so here we are. Right now, I'm currently running 360 Launcher on this. So it's like, don't mind it. So anyways, let's go into camera mode. Camera is really where it's at. So let's take my little phone stand right here and put it back along with a little Android speaker guy. And in camera mode is really where this phone kicks butt at. Low lighting is like really good. See, take a picture with flash, and we'll kind of pull that up. You guys can see right there. I mean, you have flash, but it does have low lighting mode. So let's go back to camera real quick, and we'll turn off flash, and we'll show you the different modes it has. It does have, there's normal, auto, manual, HDR, panorama, smile, photo clear, group, best shot, low light, blink detect, and interval. Okay, so you do have quite a different amount of modes you can use to take photos, especially if you're someone who's into taking photos. This is really going to be neat. Also, you do have effects and basically filters. So you have mono, sepia, negative, solarize, polarize, aqua, emboss, sketch, neon, chalk, and marker. I mean, so there's tons of things you can do with the camera. Let's put it in low light right now. Okay, so it says low light is on. Please try to keep it straight. Yeah, okay. So here we go. And let's check out the photo itself. So it doesn't really like enhance the photo, but it does allow to capture a lot of what's going on. So like where the shadows are at, it's pretty much like okay. You guys can see the shadow down here. The Android figure kind of shows up pretty clearly. So I mean that's one thing that's like really cool about the photo option itself. And the 1.6 megapixel is actually really nice. Here I am right here. So it works out pretty much great, right? You have to see how clearly that like this pretty much goes. A lot better than other devices that have their front-facing cameras are a little bit darker or washed out, or it's just a little bit more dim. This is pretty much bright, vivid. You guys can see me very well. You guys can see the red on the frames of my spectacles. And yeah, so that pretty much works out great. The build quality, I gotta say, is one thing that I'm really liking about it. You guys can see this this backing, this matte finish right here, and it is kind of like a fingerprint magnet, sort of. But the build quality itself is actually quite nice. It's kind of heavy. I really want to consider it like super heavy. Well, I guess I could. Compared to its big brother, the ZTE Max. Honestly, the Warp Sync is heavier than the Max is. And so if people think that the Max is like a really heavy phone, then yeah, this is going to be an even heavier phone. It's actually quite a little bit more heavier. Compared to another 5-incher friend of its, whatever, the Sharp Aquos Crystal. It's another 5-inch screen. You can tell it's actually bigger. Now, as far as thickness, you guys be the judge of that right there. Because the Aquos Crystal kind of rounds its edges out, whereas the Warp Sync is still flat. Width-wise, it's wider than the Aquos Crystal. Yeah. So, anyways, a couple things that I can say about this device. I would really definitely recommend this for somebody that's looking for a really good smartphone that doesn't, that's not going to kill their wallet off. The 5-inch display is a great, just given the fact you can watch movies, YouTube videos, and stuff like that from it. It's not a huge big deal. The 2 gigs of RAM actually really helps out a lot when it comes to this device. Like, you basically, with like all the necessary services running, you get about 1.2 gigs of RAM free and open, which is great. It's amazing that you have that much to work with. Just everything is just pretty snappy with it. It flies, and that's one thing that's like really great about it, is that it flies. Opening applications, is a plus. And just, going through your applications is great. The call quality on this is fairly okay. There's been some issues with call quality, and it has to do with, I don't know if it was just my fiance's account, because I was using this phone for a while. And I stopped using it. I let her use it because I was using the ZTE Max. So when I had the Max, she was using the Warp Sync. The Warp Sync technically is like a phablet for her because she has small hands. So this was a pretty big device for her to control. And with her line connected to this phone, when there was phone calls, when you would hear her talking through her phone, which was this one, it was like someone put a rag over the microphone and muffled the sound. It was really weird. Now that it's activated on my account, for some reason it's not happening. Like, people will call and talk to me, and they would hear me just fine, just really clear. So I don't know what it was, if it was the phone or if it was just the network itself. But That's kind of like the only thing I can say about call quality ever having any issues was that itself right there. Battery life on this like just really kicks butt. So you know, I start using it. You know, I do YouTube, Facebook, and stuff like that, Google Plus or whatever. And by the time that I'm getting ready to go to bed, it's down to like 23%. So that's great. You know, for one single charge. I don't actually stick it back on the charger and recharge it up. But I'll post videos on my Google pictures on my Google Plus that will let you guys know exactly how much battery life I'm getting. If you guys want to follow me on Google Plus, link into the description. You know, it's kind of sad that this phone hasn't gotten that much attention from a lot of people out there who's done reviews and things like that for Boost Mobile or whatever. This device is just really wonderful to have. You know, it runs KitKat 4.4.2, so the downside to it is that the SD card feature where you can move apps to SD is not available on here, and there's no root. This is a very hard phone to root, so I want to let people know that right now. If you're someone that needs to have a rooted phone, this probably is not going to be something you want to pick up. Just the same as with the Sharp Aquos Crystal does not have root, neither does the ZTE Warp Sync. So, but if you're just someone who just wants a good smartphone, then yes, this would be a great option with, you know, low cost budget device to have that has really, really good specs. And I think that's what really makes this phone stand out, you know, very well, is its specs. You know, having the Snapdragon 400, you know, is not bad. I mean, of course, we're like at what, the Snapdragon 810 or 820, you know, so this is not that far behind. The quad core does help, you know, with the processing of applications really well, and the 2 gigs of RAM is really, really, really what helps. Most prepaid budget devices don't even touch 2 gigs of RAM yet. I believe the ZTE Warp Sync and then the LG G2 on Boost Mobile pretty much has that option, but everything else is pretty much like, you know, with the Aquos Crystals, 1.5 gigs of RAM, you know, so it's close to 2 gigs, and then the, you know, the ZTE Max only has 1 gig of RAM. The LG Vault has 1 gig of RAM. The LG Realm, I believe, also has a gig of RAM. So not Aquos Crystal, but the Hydra Icon only has 1.5 gigs of RAM. So this one to actually touch 2 gigs, you know, is really good, and it's not considered flagship. And I know some would say the S3 should be thrown in there, but the S3 has been a flagship. I mean, it may not be this year's flagship, but it is a flagship device, and so this is considered, you know, a non-flagship phone. So for this to have 2 gigs, and the way that it runs, I mean, 2 gigs of RAM, but it runs that it has 2 gigs. Like, you don't really find much problems with it just for it being a ZTE branded phone. So you're not going to have much problems with it at all whatsoever. Camera is really good, really great. The 8 megapixel camera back here takes some really great, awesome shots. And then the 1.6 megapixel front-facing camera just does some really, really, really good justice of taking selfies. You know, if you're a selfie person or you like to be in groups of your friends and taking that, you know, that selfie mode or whatever, you're not going to have a problem doing that with this camera, much less will your pictures come out grainy or washed out or whatever. Like, you're really going to enjoy it. That is like the huge selling points of the ZTE Warp Sync. So anyways, guys, this is pretty much like almost a 15-minute video. I'm going to cut it out right now. I'm just going to tell you guys my rating for this device is a solid 5. It's a solid 5, even though there was a few things that, you know, I felt were kind of maybe an issue. The point of what it can do and how it runs and performs is what matters. And this device can really, really get you through your day. Much less can it handle just about anything you throw at it. And that's why it deserves a solid 5. And it gets a solid 5 in my book. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comment section of this video. Give me that thumbs up if you guys liked the video. Anything else you guys want me to tell you guys, I will reply back in comments so you can ask your questions there. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Click the subscribe button somewhere down there or anywhere, depending on what you're using to watch this video right now. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching this video. You guys are awesome. Have a great day.